Celebrate the octave of the solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, we do celebrate the Queenship of Mary, which means that we have fulfilled the glorious mysteries going from the Assumption to Mary, Queen of Heaven and Earth. Now, traditionally speaking, in these democratic countries of today, we really don't know what a queen is. In Europe, there are still some queens around, but sometimes they're not as they used to be. What was the role of a queen when the king would be ruling the country? Well, the queen was always known, especially, to be the one who would participate the mercy of the king, and she would usually distribute all these gifts among the people. We do find this in many queens that were saints, as you know. Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, Saint Margaret of Scotland, and many other queens that have been saints and were known or renowned because they would always do this. Actually, in the history of England, Catherine of Aragon, who was, of course, from Madrid, she is still venerated in England as to have been a very generous and merciful queen. There's always flowers on her tomb, because even now, almost 500 years after she was rejected by Henry VIII, she's still renowned to have been very, very loving to her husband and her people. So today, when we celebrate this beautiful feast day of Mary, the Queen of Heaven and Earth, we actually shouldn't be thinking of these queens that we see sometimes in our modern world trying to deceive us in a way. When we see all these queens that are up there full of splendor, or even with their Hollywood renown, whatever. We should think of a server. And this is what Our Lady tells us in this beautiful gospel. When the angel when the angel asked for her consent, she didn't say, "Behold, I am the queen." She said, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord." And this is exactly what Mary is. And that's why she is a queen. Because she understood that her queenship would always be a service to her God and a service to her people. And this is what we're called to be. There's a beautiful reflection in the Office of Readings today of one of the saints. And he says that when we think about Mary being queen, we shouldn't think about the heavens, but we should think about her life on earth, which is actually the data that we have. And what did she do? She was constantly in service to others. And it's a beautiful reflection, because this author tries to kind of spy Mary in her ordinary life. And he says, probably whoever met Mary never went away not only empty, but sad, because she would always give consolation to whoever approached her. And if we meditate upon the scene of Calvary, her description there is actually very solemn, very brief, but very consoling. She is not a person that is going crazy because what is going on with her son. She is standing there, faithful, silent, after receiving her mission. Woman, behold your son. So Mary was always approachable, was always consoling, and she is still that way. Remember what St. Teresa of the Little Flower said, I want to spend my heaven sharing and giving gifts. Remember the rain of roses, or the shower of roses. And that's meant. She probably learned that from our Heavenly Mother. So let us today celebrate in thanksgiving to God, because He has given us such a great mother and a great queen. The queen also speaks to us about her power towards God, her power of intercession, and it's not a power that is used in a wrong way. It's a power to serve. So let us approach Our Lady with great confidence that she will grant us those graces that we need, particularly the grace of graces, the communion with the King, the Lord.